The last example we're going to look at here is an application of the disc method. It says you're designing a wok frying pan that will be shaped like a spherical bowl with handles. A bit of experimentation at home persuades you that you can get one that holds about 3 liters if you make it 9 centimeters deep and give the sphere a radius of 16 centimeters. To be sure, you picture the wok as a solid of revolution and calculate its volume with an integral to the nearest centimeter. What volume do you really get? And I just noticed I have a typo in my notes. A liter is actually 1,000, not 100 cubic centimeters. So we want to see when we integrate this, when we find the volume, is it going to be about 3,000 cubic centimeters? So imagine the circle, and you can see it's the dashed line here, and then the bottom here is the wok. This circle, x squared plus y squared equals that radius 16 squared. So that circle is centered at the origin here. What I want to picture is this bottom curve, which is in the 4th quadrant. And I'm going to imagine taking this bottom part of the curve here, and I'm going to revolve it around the y-axis, and that's going to give me the volume of the wok. So what I want to do is represent the curve, and this red line here is going to represent the bottom here of that circle. I'm going to represent this in terms of y. Because we're going to be revolving it around the y-axis, I'm going to be integrating with respect to y. So I have x squared plus y squared equals 256. So with a little bit of algebra, I can rewrite that as x equals the square root of 256 minus y squared. And it says that the wok is going to be 9 centimeters deep. So if this bottom value here is negative 16, 9 centimeters above that would be the value of negative 7. So I'm going to take this curve, revolve it around the y-axis on the interval from negative 16 to negative 7. I'm using the disc method because the region that I'm revolving is sitting right on the axis of revolution. So using the disc method, the volume is pi times the integral from negative 16 to negative 7, my radius squared, so 256 minus y squared inside the radical squared, dy. Of course, when you square the radical, it eliminates that radical, so we're just left with 256 minus y squared. Integrating this, we end up with 256y minus y cubed over 3. From negative 16 to negative 7. From here on out, it's going to be a lot of arithmetic to get the answer. And I'll start it out and then I'll go straight to the answer. I do have it worked out in more detail in my notes that are posted to BlazeView though. So starting with the negative 7, 256 times negative 7 is negative 1,792. Then we're going to take negative 7 cubed over 3. Negative 7 cubed is negative 343. Because there's a minus in front of it, we get plus 343 over 3. And now I'm going to repeat the process with the negative 16. 256 times negative 16 is negative 4,096. Negative 16 squared is negative 16 cubed is negative 4,096 because there's a minus in front of it. we end up with plus 4,096 over 3. If you work this one out, you're going to end up with 1,053 pi. And again, it's just some arithmetic from here on out. Depending on if you use 3.14 for pi or if your calculator has a pi button, you will get a slightly different answer here for the volume. You might get 3,308 cubic centimeters. But you might also get something slightly smaller at 3,306 cubic centimeters, just depending on what approximation you're using for pi. Either way, if you want that wok to hold 3 liters, that's 3,000 cubic centimeters, your wok's actually going to be slightly bigger than that.